is a graveyard of secrets, and the first grave we must open lies on the jagged edges of the North Sea. Before England was a name, Northumbria was its beating heart, a kingdom of golden saints, hidden scholars, and treasures that the world has long forgotten. They built a civilization of light on the brink of a darkening world, believing their faith was a shield that no steel could pierce. But the shadows were moving, and the maps they drew were about to be turned to ash. You have entered the vault of time. Tonight, we unlock the mystery of the Holy Island, and the night the light of the North was extinguished forever. Northumbria was never meant to be a kingdom of shadows. In the 8th century, it was the intellectual heartbeat of a fragmenting Europe, a land where the salt of the North Sea met the gold of the divine. This was the age of the Golden Saints, an era where men like Alcuin and the Venerable Bede turned the rugged coastlines of northern England into a sanctuary for the world's most precious knowledge. They were not merely monks, they were the guardians of a light that was fast fading elsewhere on the continent. In the scriptoriums of Lindisfarne and Jarrow, the scratching of quills against vellum was the only sound that mattered. Here, they created masterpieces of symmetry and colour, using pigments traded from as far as the Himalayas to honour a god they believed would shield them forever. They lived in a state of holy security, believing that the sanctity of their mission was stronger than any stone wall. But the sea, which had brought them trade and inspiration, was hiding a predator. The year 793 began with dark omens that the locals could not ignore. Immense whirlwinds and flashes of lightning were seen in the skies, and many believed the very air was weeping for what was to come. These were not just weather patterns, they were the atmosphere of a dying age. On a morning that history would never forget, the horizon changed. The Northmen did not come to debate or to trade. They came with an efficiency of violence that the peaceful monks could not comprehend. When the first dragon-headed ships touched the sand of the Holy Island, the golden age of Northumbria ended in a chorus of iron and fire. The greatest library of the North, a repository of centuries of wisdom, was reduced to ash and blood in a single afternoon. The raid on Lindisfarne was more than a theft of gold. It was a surgical strike against the memory of a people. As the silver-bound Gospels were ripped apart and the scholars were put to the sword, a silence fell over the North that would last for generations. We are often told this was a random act of Viking greed, but the ruins tell a different story. It was the systematic dismantling of an elite culture. The survivors were left to wander a landscape of ghost halls and empty thrones, watching as their once mighty empire dissolved into the fog of the Viking Age. What was lost in those flames wasn't just books, but the blueprint of a civilization. Today, we look at the weathered stones and the rusted hilts buried in the dirt, searching for the secrets the kings took to their graves. The vault is now open, and the first truth we find is this: Northumbria didn't just fall, it was erased. The fires of Lindisfarne did more than melt gold. They forged a new and terrifying reality for the Seven Kingdoms. As the smoke cleared over the North Sea, the blueprint of a civilization lay in ruins, leaving behind only ghostly whispers in the stone and rusted hilts in the sand. Northumbria's crown had fallen, and the era of the scholar was replaced by the age of the wolf. But as one light fades, a darker power begins to stir in the heart of the island. Our journey has only just begun. Next, we go south to the deep forests of mid-England to face the shadow of Mercia and the last pagan king who spoke to the old gods. The vault remains open. Subscribe to join the hunt and never forget, the kings are still speaking.